I notice that if I get more in maintenance mode than creation, or if I get out of balance, then I can start getting into, we'll just call it bad mood Tim. Welcome, everyone. This is Seek, Go, Create. Your host, Tim Winders, coming to you from the passenger seat of our RV Theo. And a little bit kind of in a mood today. This is going to be just me on mic. We are going to be covering 5 things. They all start with the letter C. Every time I write things out, they kind of have this theme or they start with the same letters, or I think in terms of 3s, 5s, or 7s. And got 5 things today, and I'm kind of titling this, I've been looking at things that I guess bring me joy, make me happy, make me fulfilled. And I've been looking for things that really do that at a deep level. And so I'm going to be sharing some of those today. And I think they have value for everybody. You know, is it for business people? Yes. Is it for people in ministry? Absolutely. Is it for people in leadership positions? Of course it is. Is it just for anybody? I think so, because one of the things I've noticed about myself is that my moods, what I believe is my productivity, kind of ebbs and flows based on these items that we're going to be talking about today. So get to that in just a moment. And just want to remind you of a few things that you may or may not be aware of. First of all, we've got a great web presence. Make sure you go to seekgocreate.com, check out everything there. Make sure you give us your best email address and stay connected. I've been really consistent sending out some emails just with some updates on what's going on with our travels and with some topics that we cover. Every Thursday is when I've been sending out those emails. So give us your best email address at our site at seekgocreate.com, and we'll get you connected there. And then also connect with us on our social channels. I have been attempting to be more consistent with sharing information that has value on Instagram, Facebook, and also on TikTok. TikTok's kind of one of my favorite places to go personally, and I've been sharing more things there. And then we also put some things on LinkedIn. So connect with us on any of those places. We are Seek, Go, Create everywhere, and we would love to connect and just start engaging and interacting and just begin having some dialogue there. So go to our website, connect with us on all the socials, and also YouTube. Almost forgot YouTube. Well, we're on all the podcast areas, all the podcast streaming places and all of that. And then we're also growing, and great things are happening on YouTube. So just check us out in whatever place you'd like to consume or interact, because we believe we're there. So go check out Seek, Go, Create. All right, so the title, I really couldn't really come up with a good title for this episode today. I was thinking about the 5 C's of success. I was considering how to live a joyful life, but joy doesn't really resonate. It's not a cool, sexy title. My wife said, you know, how to live a happy life. That's not super duper, even though my wife is awesome. I should probably go with that because she recommended it. But I'm not really sure. These are just like 5 things that I wrote down some time back. They all happen to start with the letter C. And they're just things that I've noticed for me. And maybe let me just go ahead and share this. I actually feel as if I've been in this weird kind of funky, odd mood for the last few months. I don't know if it's things that are going on in the world. I don't know if it's things going on with me or whatever. I don't know. And what I recognized was that I was getting away from some rhythms that kind of nourish my soul, that feed me, that allow me to be more joyful and happy, to use the words that I talked about earlier. And so I started making some notes and just thinking about things that I need to do consistently so that I could live with more joy. I'm just going to use that because that's really the thing I'm talking about here. I could kind of get my head down and go around and still smile and look kind of happy, but I'm a little bit somber and just going about my business. And I desire to live. My wife and I talk about this all the time. Just a more joyful life, man. We are so blessed. We lead a unique life. We're in an RV and have a lot of interesting and different things going on, but we just want to be joyful and happy about that. We're grandparents now, which is cool. Our kids are doing great, and all these things are going on. There's other stuff that's junky that everybody has to deal with, but we just want to operate from joy. So I listed out 5 items, 5 things, all start with the letter C, that I need to stay focused on, that I need to be consistent. Another C word there. I need to be consistent with these items. And so over the next couple minutes, probably going to be brief with this, I'm just going to share these, and I'm hopeful that it'll be helpful, not just for me, because sometimes these podcast episodes are for me, but because I'm sharing it, that it'll be beneficial for you. So let's get going. The first one is one that probably might be one of the ones that I struggle with the most, and that is being content. C-O-N-T-E-N-T. Being content, being at rest, being at peace, being okay with whatever is going on right now, whatever's happening around you. Because one of the things I've noticed about different people, there are some people that they live in the past, the glory days, or they live with regret, or they wish they had done something different, or coulda, shoulda, woulda, and so they live in the past. And then there's some people, I'm wired more this way, we're always thinking about the future. What's going to happen tomorrow? What's happening this afternoon? What's happening next week? Sometimes that can build anxiety. Both can build anxiety, but you can get anxious about planning. I like to plan. My wife and I, we plan things. And so I can kind of think too much about the future. I would love to be more at a place where I am content, at rest, and at peace right here, right now. We've all got so much to be thankful for. I'm 58 years old. I'm in pretty good health. I feel like I'm in really good health, actually. Just stepped on the scales. I've lost 5 pounds. I'm not even really trying. And so just played some pickleball earlier today, and I'm learning how to play pickleball. I've been swimming some laps in the pool, go out and do my walks and things like that. So feeling good. So I'm joyful about the health and all that I have. Thankful for my wife, children, all those other things. But I want to be like the Apostle Paul. And I'm going to jump over to Scripture to share something, because I think it's the words that most of us, or all of us, really need to live by. And it's Philippians 4. And let me just kind of read it here. It's Philippians 4. And it starts, all of Philippians is great, by the way. Philippians 4 is phenomenal. But Philippians 10, let's see, Philippians 11. Let me start there. And it's Paul that's speaking to the church at Philippi. He says, "Not that I speak in regard to need," and this is cool, listen to what he says here, "for I have learned in whatever state I am to be content." And I desire that. Whatever state I am in, I want to be content. Listen to him as he continues on here. "I know how to be abased, and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I have learned both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need." I can't, and then this is the clincher, this is the exclamation point. "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." In other words, we're going to live a life where we got a lot going on, and there's a lot of things happening. In fact, there's always going to be stuff going on. And one of the things that I desire, and I'm kind of sharing here, is for us to be content, be happy, be joyous, and just enjoy where we are, and not be anxious for whatever happened in the past or whatever's going on in the future. We need to be mindful and learn from things and gain wisdom, but be content. So number 1, be content, be at rest, be at peace. The second item, item number 2, starts with a C, is the word collect. And the reason I use collect is kind of, it's in the mode of gather, because one of the things I found that, I don't know if it kind of exhausts me at times, but it can cause me challenges, is in the world we're in today, we have incredible amounts of information. There's a lot of stuff coming at us. We've got these phones. I've got my phone over here. I'm sitting here staring into my laptop as I'm talking with the camera on top of it. And right before I hit record, I heard beeps in the back of the RV here with my wife's iPad devices and readers. And we got a ton of information that we can access. We need to learn how to collect and gather information so that it serves us and it's not a burden. And let me tell you what I go through. I often go through thinking that I need to read more, listen to more podcasts, watch more videos, and just learn more because we have access to so much stuff. And I'm thinking we've got access to it. I need to access it. I need to learn it. And I have found that I need to go back to the first item, be content with just having a consistent rhythm of collecting and gathering data. And I'll give you a few practical things that I've learned that have helped me. I need to unsubscribe from a massive amount of emails on a regular basis. I'll go through and clean out things that I know are dragging me down. They're putting me in a bad mood. They might be trying to create more confirmation bias for me. All of those things could be happening. And so I've got it narrowed down to about 3 newsletters that I get on a morning basis just to gather news, just to get information. I hit a couple of apps and then that's it. And it typically is about 20 minutes and I'm good. And then I go to collecting my information that really nourishes my soul, which is scripture and Bible, and trying to listen to things via podcast, like I'm hopeful Seek Go Create is for you, that actually encourage me and uplift me. And so I have to be real mindful of that. Now, I want to say one other thing, that collecting and gathering information, we do have this big bottomless pit. Everyone has access to it. In fact, some of you might be on it right now, and that is the bottomless pit, the insatiable desire that social media has for our time. And so I don't know what you have to do, but for me, I have to really limit the time that I spend consuming or collecting on social media, because I know what those algorithms are doing. They're learning what I'm stopping on. They're learning what I'm scrolling. They learn what I click on. They learn what I like and share. And then they want to keep feeding it to me. So I spend more and more time there. And I've got to sort of set my time. If I just want to consume and have fun with something, like I enjoy watching TikTok videos, then I need to kind of say 15 minutes, I'm going to go just kind of enjoy this. And then I'm jumping off. And then sometimes it stretches to 20 and I have to slap myself on the hand and get away from it. So I think we've got to do that, because these things, their algorithms, the way they work, they are trained to suck us in and get as much of our time as they possibly can. We have to have them be slaves to us instead of us being slaves to them. So when you collect and gather information, make sure that you're collecting and gathering data that serves you well for whatever you do, for whatever your business is, for whatever you're collecting for whatever you're building on, that we'll talk about in just a moment. You need to be focused on, I need to be focused on gathering and collecting information in a very intentional way. And I can tell you that we're going to be fighting that battle. It is going to be such a battle going forward. And I get the irony that you're probably watching this on YouTube or social media or possibly listen to podcasts, but my desire is for Seek, Go, Create to be something that nourishes you, something that encourages you, something that lifts you up. And I'm hopeful that that's part of the collecting that is good for you. It's healthy. So that's what we're trying to do here. All right. So number 1 was be content. Number 2 was collect. Number 3, it's a huge one for me. It's the word create. And I'll just go ahead and say this right out of the gate on this one. I believe that we were created, and I believe that we were created to be creators. And for me, if I am not creating, if I go a period of time without creating, I can get a little bit grouchy. I can get a little bit grumpy. My wife can tell you, if you ever talk to her, say, hey, Tim says he can get grouchy. If I am not doing things like this, doing some teaching and sharing, or writing, or working on some projects that are building, or building businesses or companies, or working with some of the companies and clients that I work with that are building and creating, I can get in a foul mood. Now, I do think that creating has a pretty wide range of things. I mean, I shared this recently with some folks. I think that people that probably do some things that they may not think they're creative, like maybe some manual labor where, I don't know, this was kind of a weird one, digging ditches. You know what? I think that digging a ditch is something that can be creative because it's not there before you start. You have to dig a ditch for hopefully some purpose. Hopefully you're not just doing it because you want to dig a ditch. You're digging it. There's something that has to be done there. You're either getting to some pipes that are busted or something like that. You do the repair and you put it back together and all that. See, I think that is creation. So I think we're in this world where people think that content creation is all that there is. And now I think there's a lot of other creating out there. My wife, she loves doing crafts and I don't understand it. She used to, in the house we were in, she used to have a craft room where she would go down and she had walls, like all 4 walls of this room had shelves with craft paper and all kinds of stuff that she did. And she got so much joy from just going down and creating things. My creation's a little bit different. I think everybody's is a little bit different, but I do think that it's important for us to understand what we are to create and to be consistent in creating that thing. Now, the flip side of that for me is many businesses, many organizations, many tasks, we can really easily slip into maintenance mode, and you have to do that. You can't get away from it at all. But for me, I notice that if I get more in maintenance mode than creation, or if I get out of balance, then I can start getting into, we'll just call it bad mood Tim. Tim's not in a great mood because he's not creating. So I actually believe that part of what gives us joy, part of what gives us meaning and feeds us and nourishes us is to be in the mode of creating because we were designed to create. Okay, so that's create. The next C word is the word connect. All the others I just listed out, one could probably do all by themselves. But I think we're called. I think that we must interact with and connect with other people, have a community around us. Back in the book of Acts, that was the church, that was the community that they were in. And I'm not totally convinced that the current church we have or the current things that we do actually are that exact model. I think a lot of them might be, but I'm not sure that we're connecting and having the community that we all really need to have. But I do know this, that I know that we were created not just to create, but to interact with other people. And I've shared this before, but I'll share it here again. When Gloria and I went through some very difficult financial situations that were after the 2008 crash, and we were losing companies, lost our home, and we're going through bankruptcy, just a lot of ugly things. The biggest mistake that I made, well, I probably made more than one big mistake, but one of the biggest mistakes I made was that I disconnected from my community. I felt shame. I felt guilt. I was just embarrassed by what we were doing and going through. Instead of me reaching out and asking for help, or at least letting people know what I was going through, I began isolating myself. And I know that I needed to be connecting with other people. I had a community because later I went back to some of those folks and literally, they just said, Tim, why didn't you call? Why didn't you ask? And maybe it was pride, maybe it was ego, I don't know. But we're supposed to connect with people. We're supposed to ask for help, and we're supposed to give help, because that is part of what a community is. That is what we were designed and created to be. That's what God wanted us to be. He wanted His family, His creation, to integrate like a puzzle piece and help each other. So one of the big things, and the reason I bring it up is that living the way we live, we're in an RV, we travel, And I interact with a lot of people, usually via Zoom and all that, but we're in a cool little community as I'm recording right now here just outside of Rapid City, where we're meeting and interacting with a lot of people. And you know what? I love that. It gives me energy. It gives me joy, makes me happy, makes me feel productive, like I'm able to do things. But at times, especially when it gets colder in RV, we just kind of seclude ourselves a little bit and maybe we don't interact as much. But like now I'm recording this in late summer. People are out. Like I said, I played pickleball earlier and, I was just out and hung out with 4 or 5 folks. And I'm getting better, by the way, for those that pickleball out there. I just started recently and I'm still learning it and all, and I'm kind of enjoying it. So having fun with it. But we need to connect with people. We need to be part of a community. And I don't know exactly what community looks like in today's world, in the 2020s. It could be part digital, it could be face-to-face, but I know that for me, I still enjoy meeting face-to-face. And I say that as I'm looking into a camera, recording this on Zoom and recording the audio. I enjoy meeting with people. And so do that, reach out and connect. All right. The last item, the last C word here is the word clarity. And, we all desire, I think we do, I hope we do. We all desire to understand more of what our purpose is. Why are we here? What were we created for? Well, I've gone through a few things. I think we're created to create. I think we're created to connect with other people. We're supposed to be content. We have to collect and gather data, some of the other C's we've been talking about. But I do believe when we do a number of things, I know when I'm consistently collecting and gathering data in a healthy way, when I'm creating, when I'm trying to be at peace and rest and be content, when I'm connecting and interacting with people, it seems as if I gain more clarity about what I should be doing, not just big picture, but on a daily basis. I just understand more what I'm supposed to do. And my desire, my hope is that maybe if you're applying some of these things, and you're probably already doing a number of these things, I'm probably telling you things that you already know. Maybe I'm putting it in a package that's helpful, that can be a good reminder for you. But I actually do believe that I get more clarity when I'm being creative, when I'm interacting and connecting with people. And you know what that clarity does? It helps that process even more. Because as I gain clarity, I learn what type of data and information I need to be gathering and collecting. Or as I gain clarity, I know who I need to connect with and maybe who I need to disconnect with. And I know that sometimes isn't cool. Say, oh my gosh, you're going to disconnect. Yeah, there's some people we're supposed to hang out with, or some people we're supposed to hang out with for a season. And then there's times that we're supposed to disconnect and maybe go hang out with some other people and connect with them. I firmly believe that. And again, I'm a guy that lives in an RV and travels, so maybe my perspective is a little different. But when I have clarity, I can understand that. I know when people are giving me energy or feeding me and nourishing me versus when they're taking chunks out of me and making my life more difficult. And I think that we recognize that. And I also think we gain clarity in knowing what we need to create, because sometimes it's like, well, what do I start creating, Tim? Do I write? Do I share? Do I dig ditch? I don't know. But I know that as we start doing things, we learn what we shouldn't do. And in all likelihood, we start recognizing, you know what, I really enjoy this. This seems to do well. It's resonating with me and it's getting traction with other people. So that is clarity. So those are the 5 things that I have been working on. They're kind of like in my normal habits that I'm attempting to develop. And hopefully that'll be beneficial to you. So the five items are: be content, like the Apostle Paul, be at rest, be at peace. Collect, gather data in a healthy, productive way. Be creative. We should create. Connect with other people and connect with people in community and build and work within community, and continue gaining clarity to know and understand what you were created to do on this earth. And one of the things, we've got the word create, seek, go, create within our title. One of the things that's just a huge desire for me is that the interviews that we do here at Seek, Go, Create, the conversations that I have, the things we're doing on all our socials, that in some way it kind of nudges you. And at times I'm okay if it makes you uncomfortable, because sometimes we do things that we wouldn't typically do when we get uncomfortable. I know I did. When we went through the downturn of '08, I would not have made some of the changes and adjustments had we not gone through that catalytic event. So it's my encouragement that some things we do, just try to move you to living whatever life has in store for you. More joy, more happiness, more productivity, more success, however you define it. We try to redefine it in a lot of different ways here. And so I'm hopeful that does that for you. I'm hopeful these 5 C's will help you do that also. And I'm going to ask another big favor here before we wrap. Share this with someone, because we want to get this message out. We want to get the message of hope and joy that we're attempting to share via Seek, Go, Create. So help us out. Take a screenshot, share it on social media, share it if you're watching this on YouTube, so that we can get this out to other people. Thank you for listening. It's such a joy to be able to share with you. It gives me joy to do this. So thanks for allowing me to do that. I'm hopeful that you have a fantastic day. Hope you live a life of joy. And until next time, continue being all that you were created to be.